All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our Major League Baseball video here today for Saturday, June 5th. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. If you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, we're currently 4-0 in our last 4 NBA tier package picks on my Patreon page. And the good news is we have yet another NBA tier package pick going off here this evening. We've also won 5 out of our last 8 board member tier package picks on that Patreon site as well. We currently have over 1,000 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that page is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with the Tigers taking on the White Sox, 2:10 Eastern Standard Time. The Chicago White Sox are minus 235, totals 8, juice to the over. Now, the Tigers are plus $2 for some money line cash. And if you like them on the run line, they're plus $1, catching the 1.5. Tarek Skubal for Detroit, Lucas Giolito for Chicago. Now, Giolito's 5-4 thus far in the season, 3.73 ERA, and a whole bunch of strikeouts. And as a matter of fact, the righty struck out 78 batters in just over 62 innings of work. He also comes into today's start with a 1.13 whip. Now, the first place White Sox are 13 games above 500, and they currently have a very impressive home record of 22-9. Now, this White Sox pitching staff is in the top 3 in fewest hits allowed at home. And they give up only 3.1 runs per contest at Guaranteed Rate Field. They're taking on a Detroit club who's 11 games below 500 themselves. Now, the Tigers have also struggled as the road team. They've gotten the W in just 10 of 29 away games. And they rank dead last in road strikeouts at the plate. This Detroit lineup is fanning 10.8 times a game when they bat first. They also have Tarek Skubal on the bump here today, 2-7 record with a 4.59 ERA and a 1.45 whip. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Detroit's last 3 ball games got over the total of 8 runs. Chicago saw 3 out of their last 5 get over that particular number themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago White Sox minus 1.5. in the over 8 runs. Next matchup, Reds versus the Cards, 2:15 East. Now, this game's currently off the board. We got Tyler Mahle for the Reds, Johan Oviedo for St. Louis. Now, Oviedo's 0-2 with a 5.40 ERA and a 1.60 whip. The Cardinals are also on a 3-game losing streak, and they dropped 5 out of their last 6. This Cardinals lineup is in the bottom 10 in home scoring, bottom 10 in hits. They're taking on a Cincy club who's won 4 out of their last 5 themselves. And they actually held their opponents to just 2 runs per contest in those victories. The Reds are in the top 10 in striking batters out, top 10 in road hits allowed. Tyler Mahle comes into today's start with a 4-2 record and a 3.42 ERA. Now, the righty struck out 64 batters in just over 55 innings pitched. And he also has a 1.16 whip. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Cincinnati Reds winning that one outright for some money line cash. Next ball game, it is going to be Astros versus the Blue Jays, 3:07 Eastern first pitch. Pretty much coin flip in this one, guys. Both teams are minus $1.10 with the number at 9.5 juice to the over. Jose Urquidy for Houston, Ross Stripling for Toronto. Now, Stripling's just 1-3 on the year, 5.11 ERA, 1.38 whip. Toronto's been victorious in only 4 out of their last 14 home games, taking on a fellow member of the American League. The Blue Jays are also in the bottom 5 in runs allowed at home, bottom 5 in home hits allowed as well. They're taking on a Houston club who won 5 out of their last 6 ball games and held their opponents to less than 2 runs per contest in those victories. The Astros are currently 7 games over 500, and they find themselves just a game back of Oakland for first place. This Houston lineup is also leading the league in hits. Kyle Tucker is leading the club in homers with 11 of them. Nearly half of his hits this season have been for extra bases. Meanwhile, Yuli Gurriel is batting .314 with 40 RBI himself. He's in the top 10 in the league in both batting average and RBI. Now, of course, if the bats don't come alive, might not be a problem for Houston today, as they have Jose Urquidy on the hill here this afternoon. He's 4-2 with a 3.02 ERA and a .99 WHIP. Now, total-wise, Houston's 17-7 to the over when they travel, 36-21 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays are 15-9 to the over on their home field. I'm going to lean toward the Houston Astros minus $110 and the over 9.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Marlins versus the Pirates, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Miami's minus 150, totals 8, juice to the under. Trevor Rogers for Miami, Chase DeYoung for Pittsburgh. Now, DeYoung was very good this past Sunday. He gave up just 1 run in 5 innings to the Rockies. With that particular outing, the righty officially has a 1.80 ERA and a 1.00 WHIP through that limited action. Now, the Pirates have cashed in on the run line in 5 out of their last 8 home games, and they currently find themselves on a 2-game winning streak with both of those victories coming against Miami. And speaking of the Fish, they can't buy a win right now. 7-game losing streak, 12-20 straight up when they travel. Miami's currently in last place in a bad NL East, and they're in the bottom 5 in hits per contest on the road. This Miami lineup scores only 3.6 runs a game when they bat first. Now, total-wise, Miami's gone 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games, 33-23 to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Pirates have gone 25-21 to the under against the National League this year. I'm going to lean toward the Pittsburgh Pirates plus 1.5 and the under 8 runs. Next contest, Rays versus the Rangers, 4:05 p.m. East. The Tampa Bay Rays are minus 155, numbers 8.5. Rich Hill for Tampa, Colby Allard for Texas. Now, the Rangers have lost 9 out of their last 10 ball games, and they fall into last place in the AL West. Now, their pitchers are in the bottom 3 in hits allowed per contest, dead last in the majors in home strikeouts per game. They're taking on a Tampa club who's got the most road victories in baseball right now. The Rays are currently 21-10 when they bat first, and they're sitting atop the AL East at 13 games above 500. Now, this Tampa lineup currently leads the majors in road scoring. Austin Meadows has hit 14 dingers thus far in the season, along with 44 RBI. Meanwhile, catcher Mike Zunino's hit a dozen bombs this year himself, along with 24 runs batted in. Now, Tampa's also got Rich Hill on the bump here today, 4-2 record with a 3.32 ERA. He struck out 60 batters and has a 1.02 WHIP. And when it comes to the total on this one, Tampa's 22-9 to the over when they travel, 35-24 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, Texas saw their last 3 straight get over the total of 8.5 runs themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Tampa Bay Rays minus 155 and the over 8.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Indians versus the O's, 4:05 Eastern Standard Time. The Baltimore Orioles are minus $1.25, totals 8.5. John Means for Baltimore, Aaron Savali for Cleveland. Now, Savali's been real good this season, 7-2 record with a 3.28 ERA. The righty's also coming into today's start with a 1.07 WHIP. Now, Cleveland's won 3 out of their last 5 ball games, and they lead the majors in road strikeouts. They're fanning 9.9 batters a game when they travel. They're taking on a Baltimore club who's been terrible at Camden Yards this season. Winners of just 9 out of 28 home games. And they've already gone, 17 games below 500 for the entire season. As good as John Means has looked this year, the O's are still in the bottom 3 in runs allowed at home. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Baltimore's 7-3 to the under in their last 10 outings. Cleveland's gone 4-0 to the under in their last 4 road games themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Cleveland Indians plus $110 and the under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, Nationals versus the Phillies, 4:05 Eastern first pitch. The Philadelphia Phillies are minus 120, numbers 9.5, juice to the over. Spencer Howard for the Fightins, Joe Ross for Washington. Now, Joe Ross is just 2-5 on the season with a 5.40 ERA. He's walked 22 batters and comes into today's contest with a 1.41 whip. Now, Washington has dropped 6 out of their last 9 ball games, and they find themselves just 19-27 straight up against the National League. This Washington lineup is in the bottom 10 in scoring on they're in the bottom 10 in scoring on average per game, and they're averaging only 3.8 runs per contest. Now they're taking on a Philadelphia squad who's 15-11 straight up at Citizens Bank Park. They're also in the top 10 in striking batters out at home, and they're holding their opponents to just 3.8 runs a game at Citizens Bank Park as well. Spencer Howard has 17 strikeouts through just over 11 innings pitched. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, neither of these teams hit well enough to help put this one over, in my opinion. The Phils are 7-6 to the under against a divisional opponent at home. Meanwhile, Washington has gone 7-1 to the under in their last 8 road games against a divisional opponent themselves. 16-14 to the under overall for the season in their games against the NL East as well. I'm going to lean toward the Philadelphia Phillies minus 120 and the under 9.5. With that, we're going to jump into our next matchup. Twins versus the Royals, 4:10 Eastern start time. The Minnesota Twins are minus 115, totals 8.5. Jose Barrios for Minnesota, Mike Minor for Kansas City. Now, Minor's 4-2 on the season with 68 strikeouts. Kansas City's also on a 5-game winning streak, and they averaged over 8.5 runs a game during that span. The Royals have a winning record at Kauffman Stadium this season. They're also in the top 10 in home scoring. Salvi Perez has hit 14 homers already, along with 40 RBI. He's currently in the top 10 in the league in both of those categories. Meanwhile, Carlos Santana's also hit double-digit homies himself. 43 free passes at the plate for Santana. They're taking on a last-place Minnesota club who's 13 games below 500. And they've gotten the W in only 10 out of 28 road games. Now, this Twins pitching staff is dead last in the league in runs allowed on the road. And Minnesota finds themselves in the middle of a 4-game skid. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, Minnesota's 21-7 to the over when they travel. 39-18 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Royals have gone 19-10 to the over at Kauffman Stadium. I'm going to lean toward the Kansas City Royals plus $1 and the over 8.5. And unfortunately, guys, with that, I have a function I have to be at here very soon. I am running late right now, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this thing short and hop right into my quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like the Chicago White Sox minus 1.5 over 8 runs. I also like the Cincinnati Reds winning that one outright for some money line cash. Give me Houston minus $1.10 over 9.5. Pittsburgh plus 1.5 under 8 runs. I like the Tampa Bay Rays minus 155 over 8.5. Cleveland plus $1.10 under 8.5. I like Philadelphia minus 120 under 9.5 runs. Kansas City plus $1 over 8.5. Arizona plus 1.5 under 8 runs. San Francisco minus 165 under 7.5. LA Dodgers minus 130 over 8.5. Boston plus $1 under 9.5 runs. Like Oakland minus $1.30 under 11.5. Seattle plus 1.5 over 8 runs. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 4-0 in our last 4 NBA tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also 5-3 in our last 8 board member tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. I'm going to lean toward the San Diego Padres minus 110 and the under 6 runs. And if you found yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you're new here today or this week and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please feel free to do that as well and welcome yourself to the Brock Page family. I'd love to have you. And of course, I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And with that, guys, now we're going to jump into some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. So with that in mind, shout out goes to Gary DeStefano, Vinny Smooth, Mike Jones. Got to give a shout out to my man Peanut, Ulysses Hayes. Shout out to DJ Wavy, Fernando Partida, Tyler Dorso, Yuli135. Shout out to Blaine Medvick. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man Alex G. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys end up deciding to get a package here today, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package here today, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of June. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.